Evening to you all. You're watching NewsX special series Second Wave Superheroes, where we recognize the individuals and organizations for their selfless service during the devastating second wave of the pandemic. Our guests for today are N.K. Sharma, Rishi Ram, Rajiv Gupta. Let's listen into their story.
As the country slipped into a crisis, N.K. Sharma and his team stepped up to meet the challenge. Conducting over 100 COVID tests in a day, he, along with his colleagues, was able to save several lives. Despite the high risks involved, the team took on the responsibility and delivered reports within 24 hours. It was their timely response that helped several patients start their treatment on time and pave their path towards recovery. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero N.K. Sharma.
Hello and welcome to our special show, Second Wave Superheroes. Joining me today on the broadcast is Mr. N.K. Sharma. शर्मा जी, हमारे इस स्पेशल शो में आपका स्वागत है।
थैंक यू मैम।
मेरा आपसे पहला क्वेश्चन ये होगा कि आपने कोरोना की दूसरी लहर के दौरान लोगों की कैसे मदद करी?
हम लोग पेशेंट्स तक पहुंचे और उनका डायग्नोस करके उनको रिजल्ट्स दे पाए, जिसकी वजह से पेशेंट ने टाइमली अपना ट्रीटमेंट लिया और नॉन सिम्टोमेटिक थे, उन्होंने घर रह के अपने आप को स्टे रखा, सेफ रखा, अपने आप को, अपनी फैमिली को, और लोगों की ब्लेसिंग हमें मिली।
बिल्कुल। इस महामारी में आपने और आपकी टीम ने एक दिन में कितने टेस्ट करे?
हमारी टीम लगभग 20 मेंबर्स की हमारी टीम थी। हम लोगों ने पर डे 150 से 200 पर डे सैंपल्स हमने कलेक्ट किए, लेबोरेटरी में प्रोसेस कराए और टाइमली पेशेंट्स को डिलीवर किए, जिसकी वजह से पेशेंट्स ने अपना ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट किया और वो अपने आप को सुरक्षित रखे घर पे। अगर क्रिटिकल हुए तो हॉस्पिटल में जाके अपना ट्रीटमेंट उन्होंने शुरू किया और हैप्पीली ब्लेसिंग से वो ठीक होके घर पहुंचे और नाउ दे आर हैप्पी।
हमने बहुत लोगों को कहते सुना कि कोरोना की जो रिपोर्ट्स हैं उसमें देरी हो रही है। बहुत लोगों को 48 आवर्स लगी, बहुत लोगों को 72 आवर्स लगी। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी कि इस दौरान आप पर और आपकी टीम पर क्या बीत रही थी?
मैम बिल्कुल, ये आपकी बात ठीक है। लेबोरेटरीज में काफी टाइम्स और वर्कलोड होने की वजह से टाइम ड्यूरेशन इंक्रीज था, पर हम लोगों की टीम ने टाइमली पेशेंट्स का सैंपल लेके लेबोरेटरी तक पहुंचाया और टाइमली रिपोर्ट्स का डिलीवरी दी, जिसकी वजह से ये मैनेजमेंट हमारा था वो काफी अच्छा था। इस वजह से टाइमली हमने रिपोर्ट डिलीवर की और लेबोरेटरीज पे प्रेशर इतना ज्यादा था कि लॉट ऑफ सैंपल्स आर कलेक्टेड। तो इसमें थोड़ा सा डिले, जब प्रेशर था उस टाइम और नंबर्स ऑफ सैंपल ज्यादा थे तब थोड़ा सा डिले होता, पर हमने 24 आवर्स में ही रिपोर्ट सबको दी है।
बहुत अच्छी बात है। तो इतना खतरा होने के बाद भी आप लोग लोगों की मदद करते रहे और अपना कर्तव्य निभाते रहे। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी कि ऐसा क्या था जो आपको डटे रहने का हौसला दे रहा था?
यस मैम, ये बहुत अच्छी बात है। हमें एक्चुअली लाइफ में पहली बार लोगों की सेवा करने में ये चांस मिला, हमें एक ओकेजन की तरह हमने इसको लिया। और जब जब बॉर्डर पे हमारे देश की सेना खड़ी रहती है और उनको पता है सामने दुश्मन है, हमने तो हमारे लोगों की मदद की, उसको हेल्प, उनकी सर्विस देके उनको जीवन उनका बचाया। हमको बहुत खुशी हुई और ये अवसर हम लोगों को और हमारी टीम को मिला और हम लोग इसके लिए ऊपर वाले का दुआ करते हैं कि हर आदमी खुश रहे इस चीज को लेकर।
बिल्कुल। और आप लोग तो फ्रंट लाइंस पे थे, तो बोलते हैं ना कि कोरोना जिसको हो उससे बहुत डिस्टेंस रखना चाहिए, उसके ज्यादा पास नहीं जाना चाहिए। आप अपनी सेफ्टी का कैसे ध्यान रख रहे थे?
जी मैम बिल्कुल, ये अच्छी बात है, आपने अच्छा क्वेश्चन किया है। हमने पूरे प्रोटेक्शन से जो हमारे इक्विपमेंट्स थे वो पूरे इस्तेमाल किए, लाइक पीपी मास्क, N95 मास्क, ग्लव्स, और उसके साथ हमारी टीम पूरी उतरती थी पूरा मार्केट में या पूरी पब्लिक के लिए हॉस्पिटल्स में पहुंचती थी और उसी इक्विपमेंट्स को यूज करके हम सैंपल कलेक्ट करते थे और प्रोसेस करते थे।
लोग कहते हैं कि हल्दी दूध पीना चाहिए और अलग अलग चीजें खानी चाहिए, सिट्रस फ्रूट्स खाने चाहिए, जैसे अंगूर हो गए, अलग अलग संतरे हो गए। क्या आपने भी कुछ ऐसे घर के नुस्खे अपनाए अपनी इम्यूनिटी बूस्ट करने के लिए?
जी मैम, बिल्कुल। ये हम लोगों को बूस्ट अप तो बाकी लोगों की सेवा करके मिला। मैक्सिमम बूस्ट अप हम जब पेशेंट्स खुश होके या पेशेंट सही होके घर आता था, तो हमको बहुत बड़ा बूस्ट अप तो हमारा वही था। पर भी हमने टाइमली जो डाइट्स है उस पे हमने पूरा पूरा ध्यान रखा, वैक्सीनेशन लिया पूरी टीम को, और ब्लेसिंग ऑफ ऑल पीपल्स वी आर ऑल आर वेल।
दैट्स नाइस। मेरा आपसे आखिरी सवाल ये होगा कि अब सेकेंड वेव के बाद थर्ड वेव की भी बात चल रही है, और ऐसे वक्त पर आपका लोगों के लिए क्या संदेश, मैसेज होगा कि वो कैसे सावधान रहें?
बिल्कुल मैम, सब लोगों को अभी भी उतना ही ध्यान रखना है अपने आप का और अपनी फैमिली का और एंटायर सोशल समाज का, जिसकी वजह से ये वापस स्प्रेड ना हो। कीप डिस्टेंस रखें, सब मास्क पहने और गाइडलाइन फॉलो करें। और अगर किसी को डायग्नोस होता है तो वो अपने आप को घर रख के ट्रीटमेंट लें। और मैं आपको यही कहना चाहूंगा, और हर हर समाज के हर आदमी को कहना चाहूंगा कि गाइडलाइन फॉलो करें गवर्नमेंट की, टाइमली वैक्सीन लें।
जी बिल्कुल। शर्मा जी, इस शो पर हमसे जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। ऐसे ही लोगों की मदद करते रहिए। हमारा और हमारी चैनल की तरफ से आपको बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं।
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू।
धन्यवाद।
As COVID deaths continue to mount in India, crematorium and cemetery workers have been working around the clock, disposing of the bodies of COVID patients and ensuring dignity to the dead. Rishi Ram, along with the team at the Good Food Project, helps crematorium staff in the Delhi NCR region with food and other essentials. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero Rishi Ram. Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Rishi. As COVID deaths continue to mount in India, crematorians and cemetery workers have been working round the clock, disposing the bodies of COVID patients and ensuring dignity to the dead. Today, on a brand new episode of Second Wave Superheroes, I have with me Rishi Ram of the Good Food Project, an initiative that helps crematorium staff in Delhi NCR region with food and other essentials. Welcome on the show, Rudra.
Thank you for having me, Rishi.
My first question to you is, how was this initiative started and how did you get involved with this project?
Right. So basically, Rishi, our co-founders Nandini Ghosh and Shrey Gupta are friends who visited the crematorium during the peak of the second wave of the COVID pandemic in India and were completely horrified by the conditions of the crematoriums and decided on doing something for the workers of these crematoriums and cemeteries in and around Delhi NCR. My involvement started a week into the whole Good Food Project when I heard of their initiative online and then decided to pitch in and help them out in whatever way is possible.
So you guys have been providing assistance to crematorium workers with food. I'm sure you've interacted with a few of them. Can you just take us through the challenges these guys have been facing and how were you able to help them?
Yeah, Rishi, basically they have been definitely overlooked, overworked, and just absolutely overlooked in the position of being frontline workers during this whole COVID pandemic. They are absolutely exposed to COVID positive bodies, and they have tried, but their voices have not been heard out overall. In our way of helping them out, we have provided them with over 30,000 meals to various crematoriums and cemetery workers, let's say all around Delhi NCR. And that also includes, it's a proper wholesome meal. It's not, it's a proper thali that we call over here, along with, some sort of refreshment. And the idea is to keep it wholesome and nutritious. So apart from the meals, we have also provided automated hand sanitizer stations that have been generously donated by our supporters, and also have provided them with PPE kits and masks during our time and visits to the crematoriums for the food distribution.
That's great. These people, crematorium workers, they've been doing a selfless service to the nation, and their efforts have largely gone unnoticed. They've also come out and expressed dissatisfaction with the wages they've been getting. And since they're at a high risk of getting the infection, they've demanded vaccination too and the status of frontline workers. What are you guys doing to amplify their demands?
So that's the beauty of social media, Rishi, today's day and age. By the work we're doing and our on ground presence, we have over 30 volunteers who are just our on ground warriors. And whenever we do go to visit the sites for any donation drives or any food distribution, we definitely amplify their voices through social media interaction and putting out the message that they have been overlooked and overworked in this time. The idea of giving the food packages is because it's not that they're not getting food or they're not being provided food. The idea is that after a 14-hour extended shift of lifting, let's say heavy pieces of wood or whatever have it, they're just almost physically impossible to make these meals for them. So by using social media as a powerful tool and harnessing its power, we are looking to amplify their voices, which have been silenced till now.
Okay. Also, take us through how you guys are funding this project. Are you in collaboration with NGOs? Are you taking donations? What's the process like?
Right, Rishi. So we're in our second round of funding now. We have been raising funds through Milap, and the link can be found through our Instagram page. That's at goodfood_project. And that's where we've been raising funds. We've been supported by donors from various parts of the world. Many corporate, let's say, Good Samaritans such as Cipla, Mother Dairy, Amul, DCM, multiple companies have come out in whatever way possible with whatever products they can support us with. And we obviously we heavily rely on these donations to amplify our work and move into a second phase of helping out other and targeting other let's say affected parts of our society.
Okay, great. As much as we want COVID to just disappear, that's just not happening, right? It is here to stay for some more time. How do you plan to take this initiative, the Good Food Project that you guys have started? How do you plan to take it forward?
Rishi, basically, we're now moving in, as I mentioned, we're moving into 2.0 of the Good Food Project. It's been almost 40 days that we've been, completely on ground. We have just had our first ration drive, which was done in a JJ colony in the Okhla area of Delhi, where, families who've lost their sole breadwinner, families that have, no ration cards, families who have pregnant women a part of their households. We've gone out and supported them with very, let's say, essential ration kits, which can support a family of 4 to 5 individuals up to, let's say, a month easily. So these are very well, let's say, documented and verified surveys which are conducted before we do these ration drives. And now we are looking at targeting other parts of society that, which will get and have been affected, such as orphanages that have been overlooked, old age homes that have been overlooked. And the idea is to keep it centric around good food and ensuring that, a person can get a good, wholesome meal.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Rudra. Big shout out to the Good Food Project and kudos for the service that you've been doing. Keep up the good work and thank you.
While the nation was running short of oxygen and people were battling for breath, Relief NU came at the forefront for India's COVID relief. Relief NU worked day and night to provide oxygen cylinders to those in need. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero Rajiv Dhawan and Relief NU Foundation. Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX Second Wave Superheroes. Now, while the whole nation was gasping for breath, the whole nation was battling for breath, one organization was out there providing oxygen cylinders to the people who needed it. I have with me Mr. Rajiv Dhawan, founder of Relief NU Foundation. who tirelessly worked during the pandemic to provide oxygen cylinder to the people. Hello and welcome to you, sir.
Hello.
So my first question to you, sir, is how did this idea emerge? Like it's enough. You need to start there. Start helping out people out there during the pandemic. How did this idea start? How did this emerge?
See, we started very small. Uh, we were not thinking pan Delhi or pan India when we started. It was just to help the local RWA with oxygen cylinders because the situation was really bad and there were no hospital beds. And even where the beds were available, the hospitals were asking people to get their own oxygen. So, being the secretary of the RWA, we decided to, have some cylinders with us. And when we started looking for cylinders, that's when we realized that the cylinders are not easily available. And we had to buy the first lot from Maharashtra and pay the freight, But that's when we realized that if a common man needed a cylinder, there's no way that he would be able to arrange it. And even if he has to arrange it from Maharashtra, people did not have luxury of time at that time. So we started this initiative from this particular need, and then slowly we kept on adding different supplies to our initiative to help COVID victims.
So while helping this and while carrying this out, what were the major challenges that were faced by you and your organization?
Oh, there were many. First thing was we somehow my number got viral when people came to know that we were giving out cylinders for free, and then we used to get like 700 to 900 calls in a day on my number, and I was on the call all the time, and slowly we started adding people. But the major issue that we faced initially was that we had limited inventory, and people would call us like 700, 800 calls in a day. Even people with 95 SpO2 levels would call because they were all panicked at that time. So inventory was a issue. We had very little funds that we had raised locally, and some of the funds that I had put in from my own pocket. And then we also then there were several people who came ahead, helped us with donations, due to which our inventory pool went up, and we were able to maximize the reach. So first thing is that as far as the problems are concerned, number one is this. Number two is also that people did not know how to use it. So we created some videos wherein we explained the entire process. We also made some videos where people were given general awareness about COVID and other related and diseases. As we speak, we have also started the helpline for mental awareness, mental health counseling and medical counseling as well. Now, a lot of doctors have also joined hands. So we're giving out free medical counseling as well.
While all this was going on, and obviously, sometimes there is an emotional side that comes up of the people you're trying to help. And if you are, unfortunately, you are unable to, or the help doesn't reach the people, or for
Right.
any given circumstances, what was the one thing that kept you and your team kept going? Like one thing that kept all of you together?
The fact that on the next call probably we'll be able to save someone, and at the end of the day we kept a count of the amount of lives that we touched. If we touched 500 to 600 lives a day, and if we were able to save 20 to 30 of them, because I say 20 to 30 because out of 500, around 300 to 400 calls were just distress calls. People would give us calls that, thank God you've just picked up our calls. That kind of panic was going around at that time. So we would counsel. The average handling time of our calls was 15 to 20 minutes, not 2 minutes. Otherwise, if you're just giving a call for a cylinder, it should hardly last for 2 minutes. But our average handling time was 15 to 20 minutes because we, took care of people in detail. We understood their problems, and we tried to resolve the problems holistically, not just a single point resolution like providing a cylinder or a concentrator.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, it was a big help to people out there with you and your organization. I think it saved thousands of lives out there during the pandemic while the nation was struggling. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajiv, for talking to us and letting our viewers know that how did you help people during the pandemic. We at NewsX really appreciate your effort, and we at NewsX salute you for being the superhero in the second wave. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.